If you are feeling anxious, if you're feeling conflicted, if you're feeling potentially depressed, and if you're feeling conflicted and you don't really know what's going on or why that is, and it feels like all these gears are spinning in your head, and it feels like your mind and your world are completely scattered, then listen to this. I was watching this recent video by this guy named Jason Silva, and he had a video. It was called The Infectiousness of the Unconflicted Man. And basically what he was describing in this video was how, there's these certain movie characters, maybe people that we know in real life, how they're truly unconflicted and they feel so free, but they're very infectious with their energy because it seems that nothing really worries them, nothing really holds them back. And it's almost like what they see something and they do something without any inhibitions whatsoever. And I'm not saying I'm like this in any way, but it reminded me of sort of painting this picture of how can we become like this? How can we become this ideal version of maybe not just ourselves, but of this potential character? Not that we want to be like, Brad Pitt in the movie Fight Club, but how can we, sort of transcend ourselves and kind of become this type of person? And I was relating this back to becoming an entrepreneur. How do we become an unconflicted entrepreneur? Because when we're conflicted, we get so much in our own way. We think of all these different business ideas that we try and pursue, personal obligations, stress, deadlines, everything just steers us away from really, in order to get to the goal, we're currently at point A. How do we get to point B? Well, it's really in a straight line. But when we're conflicted, we're going to be going up here, down here, up this way, corkscrew around, and eventually make it there in a way that's hyper inefficient. And I was thinking when we're unconflicted, we can get from point A to B in a straight line just so much easier. And so I began thinking, what does it actually take to become unconflicted? And I thought it really came down to our mindset. And there's different parts that's inside of our mindset. One is external with our mindset, which is, the systems that we're setting up potentially in our life that removes potential stress or causing us to become conflicted. So this could be, deadlines, things we're micromanaging inside of the business, stuff inside of our personal life, maybe it's relationships, any of these other things. These are external things that are usually within our control that we can create systems around so we can mitigate that stress. And then as a result, we can take that stress out of our stress bucket, that stress out of our mind. So now our mind, just like a computer, has more RAM and more bandwidth to do what it needs to do. And I think that's always step one, is we need to remove what are these external stressors happening. And once we remove those, then we're ready for step two. And step two is removing the internal stressors from our body and mind. So specifically with our mind, I think it really comes down to within our brain. What is our brain like? How does it think? What is the root cause? What are the first principles of where it comes from? I think one of them is brain waves. Another one, we have like our brain neurotransmitters, and we have different hormones, and there's blood and there's nutrients and things like that inside of our brain. Think of it as like neurochemistry, and you can think of it like within a car, we have the oil, and we have the gasoline, and all the liquids that kind of make that brain work. We also have our hardwiring, which we know we can't really control. I mean, we can rewire our brain for the better. For example, if we meditate, do neurofeedback, and many of these other things, which are expensive and costly. And there's actually a device called Sensei, SENS.ai, which I highly recommend. It's an at-home new neurofeedback device, a little bit pricey, but I'm discovering it now, and there's so many benefits that are coming out of it. I've got no affiliation with them, but it's definitely one that you may want to check out. Back to the internal, how do we optimize this? So one thing that we want to look at is, the first is brainwaves. So how do we hack our brainwaves so we can't become unconflicted? Well, one of the best ways to hack our brainwaves is by using something known as brain.fm. Brain.fm is this application that you can get on your phone or you can get on your computer. And essentially what it allows you to do is you put on these over-the-ear headphones and you choose whatever mode that you want. So for example, let's say it's focus or deep focus. You choose that setting, or maybe it's relaxation, or maybe it's creativity, or maybe it's sleep. And what this is going to allow your brainwaves to do, if we have different brainwaves. There's gamma, which is very stressed, very focused, and we have alpha, we have delta, we have theta, and each of these are associated with like a meditative state, a sleepy state, and an anxious state. And so if our brain is very scattered, that is one brainwave that we can define. But there's another brainwave we can define that's very relaxed, very grounded, very in the zone, very unconflicted. And this brainwave we can get to quicker by wearing these headphones. And in activating this application called brain.fn and choosing, for example, focus if you want to get in the zone, have deep states of flow right away. So that is one of my favorite. There's other different softwares out there called HoloSync. And this is really going to help just settle down your brain. You can look up HoloSync. I believe the company is called CenterPoint or HeartMath or one of these companies. It will really be able to help you. Now, let's go into sort of the neurochemistry. We have different brain neurotransmitters. Dopamine is focus, serotonin is sort of happiness. We have GABA, which is sort of relaxation, acetylcholine, which is memory. We have another one called glutamate, which is not as applicable. But with supplements, we can hack each of these things. Now, obviously check with your doctor, but tyrosine for dopamine, 5-HTP for serotonin. We can take pharma-GABA for GABA to feel the brakes in our brain without having to rely on alcohol and a lot of these other things to really get in the zone. And as a result, we feel more focused, more grounded, in the zone, and as a result, more unconflicted. We're more social, we can influence people better. And so these are some of the things. It goes so much deeper, but that's just a little bit on the neurochemistry part. But once we have both these things aligned on the internal, and remember we want to get the external aligned as well, then as a result, we're going to be able to become unconflicted and inspire the people around us. So if we're an entrepreneur and we want to close more sales calls and we're unconflicted, we have this infectious energy, we're going to be able to increase our close rate percentage because it's not the things you say, it's how you say something. What is your energy? When you have better energy, you bring better people to you, bring better opportunities, better deals to you. Your loved ones, you're just able more naturally without having to try as much to be a better person around them. And you find that a lot of these opportunities, with your children, with, your loved one, it's going to be a lot easier for them to become, if it's your loved one, to become attracted to you, or your kids to, just feel like you're a better parent in their lives. Or if it's friends, all these things come from the internal and our mindset and how our body feels on a regular basis. Like, ask yourself, what is your baseline that you are feeling inside of your body right now? And how does that compare to yesterday, the day before, the week before? And how is that going to compare to tomorrow, next week, next month, next year? Has it always been the same? Can it improve? You might know people who have kind of this, like I said, unconflicted, infectious energy. What is causing them to be that way? Yeah, sometimes people are genetic anomalies, but you can get there as well. And when you focus on increasing the mindset through these two things that I just mentioned, and again, it goes way deeper with the neurochemistry, the biology, and what's inside your inner machinery that's making your mind tick and your mind run at a 3 out of 10 or a 10 out of 10, there's a big difference here. But once we get everything into alignment, that's where everything is in a good place. And then as a result, all these external circumstances, your business, your personal life, wealth, health, love, relationships, start to improve dramatically as well. So there are some tips to help you, again, surface level. If you want to dive deeper and have somebody in your corner help you achieve the same thing, comment down below, shoot me a message, and I'll be more than happy to give you a free 15-minute consult, and we'll take it from there. All the best in wellness, and wish you a great day. Bye for now.